Hey crew, what's going on? Today we're talking about why I take care of my type 1 diabetes, even though I didn't want to initially. Because whether you've had this thing for 50 plus years or maybe you were diagnosed today, there's going to be a level of burnout. There's going to be a level of uncertainty of why am I doing this if there's no finish line, right? This is something we're going to live with for the rest of our lives. How do we keep our motivation? How do we keep continuing to take care of ourselves through thick and thin? So today we're getting into a story, a realization that I had, as well as my reasoning behind staying motivated and how the heck I do it. So without any further ado, let's get into our theme song. I've spent the last 10 years pushing the limits while identifying trends and patterns in my type 1 diabetes management. Follow along as I learn, apply, and share the fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle strategies that I've learned from diabetes experts around the world. The real question is, how can we live fearlessly with diabetes while maintaining stable blood sugars? This podcast is here to give you the answer. My name is Matt Vandervecht, head coach and co-founder of FTF Warrior, and welcome to Pardon My Pancreas. So over the weekend, I had a spontaneous opportunity to surprise my nephews dressed up as their favorite superhero, Batman. And if anybody is listening that has known me for a while, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Batman. Like my favorite superhero by far. My first bike was a Batman bike. I have a bunch of memorabilia stuff. And to the point where eventually in college, I thought it would be hilarious / the coolest thing ever to buy a head-to-toe life-size costume of Batman, the Dark Knight, which I actually wore to the Batman Dark Knight midnight showing. Fun fact. And people took pictures with me. They thought I was official from DC Comics. Anyways, had the opportunity to do so. They were visiting from Colorado, found out that they were obsessed with Batman as well. And they're quite young. I think they got like 4 years old and 2 years old, something like that. But they wanted to chat about Batman. So earlier in the week, I had this in-depth discussion about their Batmobile that they have at home and how they were just getting all these cool Batman toys from their parents, or of course from Santa back when it was Christmas. And my wife actually had the idea to dress up as Batman for me and show up and essentially be a superhero impersonator. And I thought, you know what, I'm kind of busy, but that sounds like it could make a really cool memory for them. Sure, let's do it. So I'm going to show you a quick clip of what I filmed. I recorded on the way over there. Bear with me, it's like 10 seconds long, and it's just a quick intro into that event that we had done. So here it is. All right, so one of my nephews is a huge Batman fan, and I used to be, as you can tell, a huge Batman fan, so we are going to go surprise the heck out of him. Let's go! So I wanted to cut it off there because I wanted to get the mom's approval before I posted, the video of her kids' reactions. But when I got there, their jaws dropped to the floor. I walked in the door, banging on it, and they were thrilled. I think that thrilled and being stoked is an understatement. They were absolutely just happy beyond all measure. And it was the coolest experience ever. I get to see them losing their minds, thinking they're meeting the real Batman. And then I see my daughter in the background, who, if you don't know, she's about 8.5 months old, was confused out of her mind because she heard her dad's voice, but it was not her dad. It was Batman. And so that was an interesting encounter as well. But long story short, I got to have this incredible moment where I got to help create memories with these kids. And actually, after we had concluded, I told them I had to go fight crime and I'll be back later. I went back, I got changed outside, came back in the house, realized I didn't have a change of shoes. And one of the kids caught on to that. And good for him, good eye. And he was like, wait a second, I think I know who you are. And his mom caught it. Good for her. She was like, oh, is that Bruce Wayne? Right? Which, if you don't know about Batman, Bruce Wayne is the real life, day-to-day individual, and Batman is his alter ego, right? And so I played it off, and I kind of looked at him. I rose my finger to my lips, and I was like, shh. I kind of winked at him like, oh my gosh. And he freaked out. He was like, oh, it is Bruce Wayne. It's the real Batman. I can't tell anyone. So he thinks that he has the secret now with me, who is the real Batman. And, we have this thing. Really a cool experience. I told my wife, I was like, man, I gotta switch careers. This is what like superhero impersonators do at birthday parties. This is the most fun I've had in a long time. Having these kids just thrilled to see me. Anyways, I digress. The event itself was absolutely incredible. The parents were loving it because these kids' jaws dropped and they were just like having the time of their lives. And I realized in that moment that, and this is about a bit of a roundabout way of saying it, but I realized that this is one of the reasons why I take care of my diabetes, right? And it's not because I get to go hang out with kids. Like, you can do that either way. But what I didn't share with you is that to get into the Batman costume, because it is head to toe, like it covers my entire body, I had to stuff my insulin pump and my phone inside the costume. So I couldn't get to it, couldn't make any adjustments to my insulin, couldn't see where my blood sugars were at, right? And so through that whole process, I had to be confident that my blood sugars would cooperate. Because last thing you need is Batman collapsing because he has a low blood sugar. So thankfully there were no low blood sugars, there were no highs. My alerts didn't beep and go off. And if they did, we would have handled it, right? But I realized that being in control of my blood sugars enables me to have moments like that where I can freely go and play with my nephews. I can be part of a big family event and not have to worry about the ups and downs. And I also realized too that knowing what my blood sugars were going to do is not something that I always used to be confident in. Nowadays, of course, I use what we call is the 80-20 blood sugar formula, right? And that's the way that I run my diabetes, very different than what I used to do, which was more of a hope and pray method where I just kind of guessed on everything and we just see what happens, right? Now everything is very calculated. I know exactly what my blood sugars are going to do. It's a lot more freeing when you know what to expect. And so I was able to stuff my insulin pump in the costume, not know what's going to happen because, well, I did know what was going to happen in a sense. And it enabled me to be more present in that moment. And then actually afterwards, one of the kids noticed my Dexcom as I was changing. And he asked me, he's like, "What's that?" And at first I tried to play it off. I was like, "Oh, that's one of Batman's tool belt things." And I couldn't quite get it out just right. And I was like, you know what? It helps me stay healthy. Right. And my mother-in-law was there as well. And she's like, "It does. It helps him stay healthy." And, we kind of explained to him what that looks like. But really a cool moment as well to normalize the fact that there are medical devices and they help people stay healthy. Right. But over that whole event, I was looking at that, and there's this whole mindset component with diabetes where it's like, how do I stay motivated? I don't want to take care of myself. I'll tell you, initially, when I was first diagnosed, I did not want to take care of myself at all. I hated the fact that I was diabetic. I felt like I was weaker as an individual, and it was embarrassing. I didn't tell a whole lot of people about it. It took a long time before I gained that confidence and really started to understand how diabetes works as well. So what I want to tell you, whether you've had this for 50 plus years or you're brand new to diabetes, this is something that, yes, it's not going away, but it also doesn't have to change who you are. And that was a lesson that took me a long time to learn. I thought that it made me a weaker person, which is just not true, right? It changes a little bit about your day to day. Yes, you have to do some math when you eat meals. Yes, you have to do some preparing before you head out the door, right? Grab your insulin, grab your sugar, your glucometer, whatever that looks like. But you can still live a totally normal and healthy life, right? It just takes a little bit of extra work there. And I realize everyone's got their stuff. If it's not diabetes, it's something else. So this is one thing that I want to encourage you with, or 3 different steps that I realized help me to become my best and healthiest version of myself so that I can be present in those moments of creating memories with my daughter, with my nephews, with family, or even just enjoying day to day with peace of mind and not having to worry so much about the what ifs of blood sugars, right? So the first thing I want to jump into after acknowledging that diabetes is a real thing, we can't get away from it, right? After you can get past that and acknowledge and accept that you have diabetes, the number one step is going to be mindset. Because let's be real, if you don't want to take care of your diabetes, you're not going to, right? If you're in this place where you're angry or depressed or defiant, like I was, probably not going to take care of yourself to your fullest capacities, right? When I was angry and depressed at my diabetes diagnosis, I guessed on my insulin dosages. I didn't always take my insulin, which is very dangerous. I do not recommend that. And put myself into some pretty scary situations where I could have potentially died, right? And so realizing now that mindset has this huge impact on our diabetes management, it's something that is crucial in the education of diabetes management. I think that it's completely overlooked and we need to change that. But right now, what you can do, since you are listening to this, if you know someone who needs to hear this video, send it to them, share the heck out of this video, because people need to know that mindset comes first, right? If you want to take care of your diabetes, if you're mentally healthy, this is going to assist in your diabetes management. Versus if you're averse to your diabetes management, you're not going to want to do it. So that was the first step for me, is to building a healthy mindset, accepting my disease, building more of an acceptance of myself, realizing it doesn't make me weaker, doesn't have to change who I am, and then building healthy habits surrounding my diabetes management. Now, the second component to getting this thing all sorted is going to be your reason, or your why. Right? For me, a big part of the reason why I take care of myself is exactly the weekend event that I had, right? I got to dress up as Batman, not worry about my blood sugars, and be present in that moment to create a lasting memory for my daughter, maybe not my daughter because she's super young, but for sure for my two nephews, right? And then the family as a whole. They got to see me goofing around, being Batman, and create that bond between all of us. That's a huge part of the reason that I take care of my diabetes. It's other people being present, knowing that down the road I can, dance in the kitchen with my daughter. I can go out on date nights with my wife and not have to worry so much about, well, what's going to happen, right? Because I know what's going to happen. It's going to stay stable. And if it doesn't stay stable, I've got the tools necessary and the knowledge necessary to take care of my blood sugars. And so looking at why the heck do I take care of myself? First, it starts with a healthy mindset, right? Being ready to take care of it. But then to keep taking care of it, you have to have that why, that reason that's going to drive you beyond staying motivated. Because reality is, motivation is crap. You're not going to stay motivated. You think that athletes enjoy getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go practice? I can tell you most of the time it's not. It's a dedication to the craft, right? So it's not motivation you should be relying on, but rather, what is the reason behind the motivation? Why do you want to have control of your blood sugars? What is important to you in these moments? And so for me, it's about creating those moments, about being able to be present in those memory creation times, being able to, hang out with my daughter, walk around with her in a park when she starts walking, and create those memories. Not being held back by my blood sugars is a huge part of that. Of course, the other side of that, of course, is being healthy, being able to travel, being able to enjoy foods again, go out and mountain bike or surf. Quality of life really comes into play for me as well. But I want you to take a moment here and think to yourself, why is it important for me? Why should I care about taking care of my blood sugars? And sometimes it's internal, sometimes it's external, right? For me, that first reason was external. I want to be present for other people. I want to create memories for my nieces, my nephews, my daughter, my wife. I want them to feel my presence and enjoy it, and not have me be a nervous wreck or somebody who doesn't take care of themselves and then dies early or gets complications and can't participate. Those are external. But then internally, I also want to feel healthy. I also want to be happy, have a great quality of life, right? So that's a big component to maintaining that motivation, is to figure out why the heck you want it in the first place. And the deeper you can go here, the better. If you can find an emotional reason that really just tugs at your heartstrings, more likely to carry that out long term. All right, so step one, healthy mindset. You got to be in the right frame of mind if you want to take care of this thing to the fullest. Number two is going to be the reason why you want to do this. Why is this important to you? Dig deep. All right. Now, step three is more tactical. This is going to be take action. So now you're ready to take care of it. You know what's going to keep you going on the tough days, right? Because there's going to be days where your blood sugars go a little wacky. You're going to have to get back on the horse and say, whoa, that was a tough one, but it's worth it because X, Y, Z. Right? Your reason why. But I have to get past step two. Step three is to take action. Okay, yeah, I'm ready to take care of it. I'm motivated to take care of it, but what do I do? Right? And taking action is one of the key components that a lot of people miss. And it's because they don't know what to do in a lot of cases, right? There's this phrase, you don't know what you don't know. And that phrase could not be more true with diabetes. Initially, I had no idea what I didn't know. I thought you take insulin for carbs. That's the extent of it, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot more at play here with diabetes. There's a lot of things that impact blood sugars, and there's a lot of fluctuation with blood sugars if you don't know what you're doing, right? Ups and downs all day long. Sometimes we fall back on restriction and saying, oh, I can't eat that kind of food. I can't eat carbs, right? Or it falls back on avoiding the special moments in life. Oh, I got to say no to that family dinner. I just don't feel comfortable. And even if you're not being honest with them, it's time to be honest with yourself, right? Oh, I don't want to go for a hike today. Why? You kind of freeze, right? It's because your blood sugars make you a little bit nervous to go back in the mountains. And what happens if I go low? What happens if I go high? And these fears can hold us back. So the third step here is to take action. Take action in learning more, in implementing what you learn, in hiring a coach, going to your doctor, talking to somebody who supports you. Just take action somewhere. Imperfect action will always beat that perfectionist mindset of waiting for the perfect moment. Because the reality is there is no perfect moment, and there never will be. There will always be an excuse that you can find if you're looking for one. We don't want excuses. That's not who we are, right? Because if we continue to give excuses, we're never going to make any progress, which means our diabetes wins. And I know that you're not a loser, right? You're here to beat this thing, to win, to show up every single day, and to keep up the fight. That's why I say that every single time we make videos. This is a fight that you wake up every day and you choose, you make a conscious choice to either fight or give up, right? And there's going to be days where you feel like giving up. I can guarantee it. I've had them. I've had many of them. But you do not have to give in to that. You can have a moment where your soul can go, oh man, this is so hard, right? And it's okay to feel that, but it's not okay to quit. I don't want that for you. So instead, we get up, we choose to fight, we choose to push forward into another day. We do not look for excuses, but rather find new opportunities to grow, to take action, and to take control of our diabetes. So today I wanted to give you that piece of encouragement. Over the weekend, I had a fun, goofy time dressing up as Batman for my nephews and for my daughter. It was amazing. But as I dug deeper, I realized that I was able to do that because I take control of my diabetes, because I took action, which was in place because I had a reason to take action, which was in place because I've taken the time to set up a healthy mindset surrounding my diabetes. All right, so those 3 steps, I want you to implement those today. This is your homework, all right? I want you to have something to take action on, to be actionable with. And if you need any help with this, feel free to reach out. There are free support groups. There are free knowledge resources. There are books. There are courses. There are coaches like myself that enable you to start learning faster, right? And of course, if you find a coach like me who actually has type 1 diabetes as well, that's where we can really start breaking some ground and making some huge progress. And guess what? That's my insulin pump letting me know that I forgot to turn it back on. So good news is everyone makes mistakes. There are human errors surrounding us, and you're going to have days just like this where it looks like probably 20 minutes ago I turned my pump off to shower and I forgot to turn it back on. Look at that. Matt's human as well. So I want to encourage you with this. Find your why. That's the biggest first step today. Unless you're not in a good spot mentally, then focus on that first, right? Fix your mindset, find your why, and then take action. Take imperfect action. It's the best way to do it because you'll start to make progress. You'll feel the momentum from the progress, and that will only propel you further, faster towards your goals. All right, that's what I want for you. Now, if you have not subscribed yet, do so. Please hit like, leave a comment. Tell me about what you are working on. What is your why? In fact, let's do that. If you're on YouTube with me, drop a comment and tell me why getting your blood sugars in check is important to you. What's the big goal here? Bonus points if you tell me how you're taking action on it. All right. And if you want some help finding the action steps, leave a comment. I will reply to you and get you some steps depending on where you're at. All right. So do subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment there. I look forward to seeing all the responses down there. And if you know somebody else who could use this, share this. Put it in other Facebook groups, put it in other communities. People need to know that everyone is in this together, right? And there are ways to feel motivation, yes, but more importantly, you got to figure out the deep-rooted reasons why this is important to you and then take imperfect action. All right, so I hope this was useful for you. Hopefully it's not just a Batman story. I hope you found some use within that motivational realm of how do you keep going with your diabetes. And I hope that you make some forward progress today. And remember, hope is not a strategy. So that's on you to actually take those first steps. Let me know if I can help. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day. Once again, I forgot to add my time and range. I keep telling you guys I'm going to do it every single week, and I hope that you know that because I keep forgetting, it's not that I'm trying to like show off these numbers, though I am proud of them. It's more so that I want to give you hope and show you what is possible, right? So this last week, over the last 7 days, here's my clarity report. We got 95%, which as it says is the same as the week before, which as last week said was the same as that week before. So I think I found my new balance point at 95% time in range as my new standard. Really excited about that, but I want you to see that that's with me doing whatever I want, right? Entertaining children in a Batman suit, hanging out with my daughter, going on date night with my wife, going mountain biking, and still getting 95% time in range. It is possible. You can do it. You just got to put in a little bit of work to understand how your diabetes is going to function. You learn your blood sugar formulas. That's what we teach people to do. It's possible. You got this, and stay strong, warrior. We're all in this together, and let me know if I can help you out with this. All right, so I want to share that. I almost forgot. You almost got me. But have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll catch you guys next week, and keep up the fight.